What is vulnerability? What does vulnerability mean mentally? And what does it mean in the body? Like, how do you feel in the body about vulnerability? So, in today's society, vulnerability, how we define it, is a expression from your body or an expression of something that you feel might be touchy or tender, or and in today's society a lot of times we label vulnerability as something weak, that if you're vulnerable then you're showing your weakness. What if there's another way to look at or define vulnerability? I mean, we've had lots of people talk about vulnerability, especially Brene Brown, who has really done an amazing job of expressing and speaking to the study of vulnerability and how we express it and what it truly means and how to put ourselves out there in front of another person and share ourselves. What I've noticed for myself when it comes to what vulnerability feels like in the body, if you were to take a moment, so I'm going to give you guys 15 to 20 seconds to feel, what does it feel like in your body, not mentally, but when you think or say vulnerability, what does your body feel like in association to that word? So go ahead, I'll give you 20 seconds. So in this moment, you have experienced what vulnerability may feel like to you. If we were to take vulnerability and, as some have defined it, as something that might be weak, the way that I see it when I feel it in my body is I think of it as like a triangle. On the bottom, on one side is weakness, on the other side is strength, and on top of the triangle is vulnerability. So to me, vulnerability is neither strength or weakness. To me, whenever I've tuned into a moment of something arising in me and I want to express it, what I feel when I feel that sense of, like I'm about to share something, like, that to me is vulnerability. Now, it's neither weakness nor strength. It's in and of itself its own category. Now, what happens is the moment we feel that sensation arise about something that we potentially want to express to another, what then happens is we all of a sudden go into the story or the other sensations of what it means in expressing what it is that you first had the feeling of vulnerability to express. So for me, a lot of the times, whenever I've been in men's group or gathering with someone and I want to express myself, the moment that sensation arises, I all of a sudden start to associate the expression of something as fear, anxiety, shame, guilt. There's a tender part of me that wants to be heard. So all these associations that I make that I want to express that thing, which is just the sensation of vulnerability of like, wow, this thing that I want to express right now is a part of me that is afraid to be seen, is afraid to be heard, like all these associations. If we were to really honor that feeling that comes up of like, okay, in this moment, I'm feeling vulnerable. Most times, 8 out of 10, I'm going to do the 80-20 rule, 8 out of 10 times, if you are in an environment where you feel safe and accepted, and the people around you are accepting and have made you feel safe, and when you express that vulnerability, when you express or share that thing, the whole room, everybody in that environment feels your share. And this has happened many times in the men's groups. I can remember one time where we were going through changes in the group, and one of the guys in the group was really charged. You could tell he was quite charged about the situation, and he was expressing himself, yet he kept saying what I feel, yet he wasn't expressing his feeling. He was expressing the stories or the thoughts around what he was feeling. And so I asked him, hey, what would that feel like if you expressed yourself? What's the feeling underneath that? What he said was injustice. And the whole group, all the men's group, everybody in the men's group, all of a sudden went, oh, yeah. So we all felt it. We all could connect to his emotional expression of what he felt. So a lot of times what I also see is when someone says, oh, I have a vulnerable share, their share is coming from here. It's the words that they're expressing to what it is they are, in essence, stated that they're vulnerable about. Now, we are thinking, being people. So whenever we talk to, whenever we say, hey, I want to be with that person, or let's go be with that person, you're not saying, hey, let's go do that person, which is, when it comes to doing sexually, that's fine too. That's amazing. Yet when we speak into the idea of wanting to be around people, being around people is an emotional. What if it was all of our body, not just our cognitive body? Can we connect to our body while we are in connection with another person? So what would that mean, at least for me? What I've noticed is that a lot of the times when we're in connection or conversation with someone, we are in some ways slightly disconnected from our bodily expression while we are in connection with another person. Now, some of us are like truly like really connected. Like the connection between the mind and body is like spot on. A lot of the men in the men's group, there's a disconnect between how they think to how they feel about something. And so my invitation would be, when you are in connection, first and foremost with yourself, can you, while in your cognitive mind, while in your thinking mind, can you sometimes tune into your body and see, hey, what is my body in this moment? How is it connected? What does it feel like? What is it operating under? How does it feel? What sensations are going on? Yeah. So we'll leave that at that. Now, when it comes to in connection with another person, what if our words were not the only thing that's being communicated? Right? I mean, studies have shown that our words are like 20 or 30%. The rest is body language, like our facial expressions. Now, what if underneath all that, it's the sensations that we're feeling and transmitting towards another person, to another person, right? I mean, how many times have you had the experience when someone is saying something there's a part of you, let's say that person is saying something, but it's not really truthful. How many times have you been like to yourself, you're like, wow, that doesn't really, I didn't really feel the authenticity in that, or I didn't feel the truth in that. Now, you might be right, you might be wrong. And there are times when you're spot on. Why? Because it's not the words that you're picking up on, it's the bodily, you're tuning into the bodily sensation, or call it energetics, or the beingness of that person as to what it is that they're transmitting to you beyond the words. So the invitation is, when in conversation with people, can you at times tune into the felt sense of your body when you are speaking to see what are you actually transmitting? What is coming through in the non-verbal, beyond the what's visible, the non-verbal that's not visible, energetics, the sensation, the feeling that you're passing on to another person. Now, what does this all have to do with vulnerability? I feel that as we are able to tune into more of our body system, expressing ourselves not just through our words and our thoughts, but also through our emotion, potentially noticing how we speak. Is it fast? Is it slow? Is it all over the place? Is it linear? We all speak very differently, and yet we all pick up, depending on our felt sense abilities, on the sensation that someone is transmitting. So vulnerability is not just, hey, I have something to share that's, again, tender, I feel like it's shameful, or I feel guilty about it, or whatever it is that you're about to express vulnerably, right? What if, in moments of really tuning into who I am as I'm sharing, that in and of itself is being vulnerable, right? I think that I hear vulnerability as it's got to be this thing that I'm sharing that's so that I haven't shared with anyone, or that it might be sticky or tender. What if vulnerability is, again, neutral? It's not good nor bad. It's its own category of, you know, what do you, not definition, but category of, I don't know what category. Let's just forget about that sense. But when you're expressing yourself, what if just tuning into your emotional state is vulnerable? Which it is. Tuning into our felt sense can be vulnerable. Why? What's happening here? If I am in conversation with someone, if I am tuned into not just my thinking mind, but my emotional state, my body, in and of itself, when someone is speaking, I am picking up the emotional expression of what they're saying. I'm picking up the nuances. I'm picking up so much more than just the words that are coming through. And what does that mean for me? Well, if I'm tuned into my emotional body as I'm hearing someone, I can be more empathetic. I can feel more of what they're saying. I can encapsulate and take in a broader, not a broader, but a more in-depth picture of what they're saying, because it's not just the words, it's the emotional state, that which is, in my opinion, so much more powerful than the words. I've been in situations where, I mean, I'm sure you have too, when you're standing in front of someone and there's no words being exchanged. Whether it's eye gazing, whether it's holding hands with someone, holding hands and looking at the sunset. You're not sharing words. You're tuned into something deeper than just the words. And that breath for me, that deep breath, that's a perfect example of being emotionally regulated, being tuned into my body as I'm sharing this versus sharing it from a place of, am I saying the words right? Is this coherent? Does this make sense? Is this coming out well? I am more in my felt body sense and my, I would say in some ways, my unconscious mind, and allowing what is felt and sensed and embodied to be expressed, to be shared, to be voiced. So, to encapsulate, explore expressing yourself not just from your cognitive thinking, your words, while expressing yourself from a body-based, what am I feeling? What am I tuned into as I'm expressing or sharing something with someone? I hope that helps. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know in the comments what you think. Thanks so much.